how does an East Tennessee guy who's got, you have to have some swagger to become a 26-year-old real estate mogul, and then falls off, and then is immediately into hustling again. I got to feed this family.
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
How in the world does that guy summon the humility to go to a therapist? Therapist was not a thing back then. That was you. I mean,
no, it wasn't. No,
there wasn't a marriage therapist on every corner like there is now.
No, but you know, basically we're going. I looked at it like going to class.
Okay.
Like
I learned some new tools.
Like I don't know how to do this, so I need somebody to teach me how to do this.
Yeah, but that's a special level of humility, Dave.
Well, I didn't know how to do it. I mean, it was not. I guess it was not like I think I know how, but I'm going to be humble. No, it wasn't. It was like I don't know what the crap I'm doing here. I mean, I didn't know how to be married, and I certainly didn't know how to be married from a Christian perspective. And so I'm studying scriptures, and we're going to Christian marriage retreats and Christian marriage weekends and seminars and this stuff. And so I'm learning the scriptural concepts of this, and I'm starting to learn how to apply them, and and I'm dying and being reborn,
right?
Literally, in so many facets of my life, but certainly spiritually, in that process. And so it really wasn't. It was more like, and it wasn't really like this desperate thing, but it was, I don't know how to fix this, and and the manual I've got is confusing. So I need somebody to guide me through the manual. And it was just, for me, it was like a practical thing, if that makes any sense. But and I didn't go to fix her. I'll give myself a little credit.
Yeah.
I didn't go, I'm taking you to marriage counseling to straighten you out, because I was well aware that the majority of it was me. And I also knew enough about trauma. I wouldn't have called it that in those days, but I'd studied enough psych in school and that kind of stuff to get the idea that we'd been through hell and it affected both of us.
Right.
And so we were damaged goods two damaged people. I mean, my insecurity was magnified off the roof because I'd lost all confidence and competence, as if I had any. And her insecurity turned into just sheer terror. Yeah. She's afraid every move I was going to make was going to put us in the street.
Yeah.
And rightly so, it had. Mm-hmm. So we had to work through some.
Did you have a family map for that, or were you out in the woods on this one?
No, we were out in the woods. I mean, we had church family.
But I mean, you didn't have like a mom or dad that went through stuff, and you saw them treat each other this way, or aunts and cousins.
My parents are, her parents and my parents stayed married their whole lives.
Okay.
They were, but that's all we knew. We didn't know how they did it.
Right. Yeah.
And we knew it was messy.
Of course,
how you do it, because it is always messy.
Right.
And if you think it's not messy, you're lying.
That's right.
So, or you haven't been married long, or whatever. I had a lady come up and said, I'd never had a fight with my husband in 35 years. And I said, that's because you're a liar.
Right.
It's like, the book lines.
He does drugs.
People stuff saying book lines, right? But yeah, and so that's all in that pretext. And really that hasn't changed, because I start running a business and I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing. So I got to get, John Maxwell in my corner. I got to get Henry Cloud in my corner. I didn't even know these men. I started reading their stuff. They become friends later, but I had to have a guide to lead me through the forest on these different things that I didn't know. And I'm still looking. I don't look for a singular mentor. I don't believe in that. I need someone to be my mentor thing. I don't do that stuff. But I do look at a guy and go, he's got a good marriage. Okay, dude, what are you doing? Or that guy's good. Look at his kids turned out. How'd you do that? Because I'm ready to kill mine. So, how do you let them live and they turn out?
It does sound so A plus B equals C. Like, I need to learn how to fix this vacuum. That guy knows how. I'm going to call that guy. That's an increase. It's always been rare, and it's an increasingly rarer thing. Because now we got these little boxes in our phones that tell us that we know everything. We can just Google it, right?
Well, yeah, but
there's not a lot of people that do that.
It is a type of humility, but it's not this. But what happened was, I have the benefit of being humiliated by this crushing experience going through, losing everything. And so there was nothing left that said Dave knew anything.
Right.
And so it was really easy to go, I don't know how to do that, because obviously I don't know how to do anything, kind of thing. So, and so starting from that point, but that kid that was arrogant little, 25-year-old, 24-year-old, whatever, would not have gone to counseling because he would not have been wrong about anything.
Okay. So when I've made stupid mistakes, said stupid things, we had a joint conference, a Zoom conference with my kids with Hank's school today. And after the meeting, I told Sheila, hey, I want to join that Zoom. And she just looked at me with that one pause. And I said, I won't embarrass us. And so we had the Zoom meeting. And then I texted her after, did I embarrass us? And she wrote, no. And that nope. And I was like, okay, good.
You can go home tonight.
I'm good. Yes, I can sleep inside. So when we do dumb things or stupid things, I wear my shame, right? I have to deal with me. I've got to, and my tendency is like you. I need to surround myself by people who know how to do things I don't know how to do, and that's one of my favorite things about being alive. But my wife, I've learned over the years, wears it too in a different way. To the best of you understand, how was Sharon walking through this? As someone who'd hitched her wagon to a smooth talking, multimillionaire,
then wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, her first thing she would tell you was that she was terrified, that the experience terrified her. And so we had to put, marriage counseling did this and common sense did this too. We had to put rules in our life that keep me from doing something without her agreement that's going to terrify her. And so, for instance, we don't spend over $500, either one of us, without first talking about it.
To this day.
We do live on a budget, yeah. I'm worth hundreds of millions of dollars, right. And I don't spend over $500 without talking to my wife. I never go and just buy something. Now, these days, with the zeros we live with, we are less and less concerned about it. If she wants to buy a purse that costs more than it should, I'm just no big deal, because that means I get another gun. But yeah, so a little trade-off here. But but it's not. So it's not like But in the old days, it was like, here we go again. It was like, you're scamming and scheming again. That's what she would say. And so I don't know if that gives you insight into her mindset or not. I don't think you would have to ask her to be sure, but I didn't read her as shame. That was me, but she didn't cause it. She just was hitched to it.
Yeah.
Now she was like at a family reunion with her family, the fact that we were bankrupt. Now that she might have felt shame with that, but even with our friends and stuff, she's like, well, he's just an idiot. I mean, maybe not exactly that, not that raw, but I mean, she's just like,
she calls it like it is.
She didn't feel like she caused it because she didn't.
Okay.
And so, but except to the extent that she didn't speak up. And years later, she found her voice, and it works real well now. But she didn't speak up. She was just kind of the Southern Belle, whatever you want to do, honey. And then later on, she go, but I knew it wasn't going to work. And I'm like, well, why didn't you say anything? You're deadgum genius till after the fact. But so we just don't do stuff, but what we're both in agreement. And we don't make large philanthropic gifts. We do a lot of giving to ministry through our family foundation. It's all structured. The family all speaks into it. Our kids speak into it. Sharon and I are in agreement. And if one of my buddies calls up that's got a ministry and goes, hey, I need $10,000 for this, even if I know there's room in the budget, I email Sharon and Denise. My daughter's the director of the foundation. I'm going, so-and-so's wanting $10,000. I think we've got it in the budget. I think we ought to do it. What do y'all think? Now, I easily can make that decision. I make hundreds of thousands of dollars decisions around the company every day without talking to them. I run it through the leadership team here. But the accountability back to that keeps me from walking up on thin ice that activates her old scars, her old wounds.
And would you, for both of you, are they still there somewhere?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll be the rest of our lives. Less and less, the more and more padding you had over them, and the more distance you have, the more healed they are. I mean, if you'd ask us 2 years later or 5 years later, it felt a lot different for both of us. I've worked past that shame and worked past that the insecurity and the humiliation that I put myself through by owning it, but also by not doing it anymore, and I'm not that guy anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not I'm a better dad. I'm a better husband. I'm not arrived. Don't get me wrong. I'm a better leader than I was when I started, and so that allows me to give myself grace.